What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. It's one of my favorite videos of the month. Actually, might be my favorite video of the month. Gem Rate Data. Our friend over at Gem Rate over on IG. If you're not following him, I really don't know what you're doing. Breaking down this data, talking grading companies. It is probably my favorite thing to do from a content space. It always spurs interesting discussions. And I just really enjoy, I don't know, armchair quarterbacking these grading companies. A lot of times I'm probably wrong. A lot of times I'm right. I don't know. But it's fun data to dig into. We have our August monthly numbers. So sit back, relax, like, comment, subscribe. Let's go ahead and dive in. Right off the get, PSA 895,000, a little bit of a dip from July. CSG/CGC combined for 171. SGC bounced back a little bit, up to 75K. And Beckett put in 41,000. We don't know how that compares to last month because last month GemRate did a little bit of an updating. Actually, Beckett did some updating on their website, which caused the data to be a little wonky. So he decided not to include it. Now, as we all know, last month in July, PSA had the $18 special roll out, and it hurt everybody across the board. This is the reason why I have all 3 months up here, because I kind of want to talk about them all together. In July, SGC dropped way off. CSG/CGC dropped off, and Beckett, once again, that we don't know. The interesting thing here is now the $18 special is gone, obviously. So SGC's volume increased, CSG/CGC volume increased, but go back and look at the June data on the far right, and you could see that they didn't get back to their old level. CSG/CGC got close, 171K in August compared to 176,000 in June. SGC fell quite a bit short, 75K compared to 100K. And Beckett, comparing the two, 41K to 72K in June. Now, I will say this about Beckett. We don't know how much it affected them, but they did move offices this month. I don't know if that affected output or not. I have no idea, but I'm just throwing that out there. Do with that information as you see fit. So it's very interesting when you lay all 3 months out like this. You could easily see the impact that the $18 grading had and how the bounce back was. The intriguing part is that the companies didn't bounce all the way back. They got CSG/CGC got close. SGC definitely lagged behind the most. Everyone is still clamoring. Everything that SGC does, every comment that I make on them, any grading video that I do, and I'm sure there's already 3 of them in the comments down below. What is SGC going to drop the price? They can't stay at $30. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. What are we going to do? I can't handle $30 SGC grading. It's over. Burn it all to the ground. I don't know. Personally, I think they might be waiting this to see what PSA does. I think they're going to wait to see what PSA does with pricing, and I have a feeling we're going to get that news pretty soon. PSA will announce their pricing change. SGC will take the temperature and then react to that. Versus changing the price now, PSA doing something, and then them needing to readjust. My gut tells me $30 grading does not change. I think they stay at $30. I think they add another tier. I think they roll out some sort of bulk rate. I think $30 stays as their standard submission tier. No declared value, fast turnaround time, or fast-ish turnaround time. And then they roll out some sort of bulk level pricing. Maybe it's $15 per card, $10 per card, $12, who knows, whatever it is. And maybe it's, hey, we'll do this, but it's going to be a 90-day turnaround time or something like that. I have no idea. CSG/CGC. They just announced just yesterday, which is perfect timing for me. Bulk rate is at $15 a card, 30-day turnaround time, but they are lowering the minimum from 50 cards to 25 cards. As someone that just ripped a bunch of Marvel cards, I am ecstatic about this. I'm just waiting for Spider-Man Metal to be loaded into their system. So I have a stack of stuff. Hopefully the video that you watch on Monday or Tuesday next week is a CGC submission preview video. I have a stack of stuff ready to go. I'm just waiting for them to update the website. It might be updated by the time that you're watching this video. So that's their little bit of piece of news there, is lowering that minimum. And I guarantee you that'll spur their numbers at least a little bit. I know a lot of people that either A, don't have 50 cards to submit, or B, don't want to bill for 50 cards all at once. Because I know I was looking at it. I was struggling a little bit to get to 50. I probably could have if I absolutely positively had to, but I didn't necessarily want the grading bill on the back end of sending 50. The other thing to discuss here with PSA, they did 895,000 cards, which if you just look at their numbers is pretty on point to where they've been, around that 900,000 to a 1 million range. The interesting thing which GemRate noted is that they actually slowed down as the month went on, which he and I agree with him in conversations that we had, think that maybe, which, you know, and it makes sense based off comments from PSA themselves, that backlog might be getting more and more clear as the day goes by, and in fact might be down to just the very, very end, because those daily numbers have been dwindling, and it's not like anything's changed in regards to staffing or anything like that. PSA has said in the past that by mid-September, I believe that they would have the backlog completely clear, maybe into October. I expect we get an announcement from them this month, maybe right after the holiday. I wouldn't be surprised if I have a PSA breaking news video with whatever their new price nonsense is. Once again, GemRate and I discussed this, and I agree with his thoughts on this, or we both agree with each other. I think the first move that they make is the $30 grading gets changed to no membership required. It'll just be $30. Anybody can submit. That's their value tier service at, I think, $500 declared value off the top of my head. I think the other thing they do is bring back some sort of bulk rate. I think it ends up being between 15 and 18 bucks for the $200 declared value with a 90-day turnaround time. The thing that PSA has discussed is that they do not want cards in the building for longer than 90 days. If PSA rolls out $15 to $18 grading with a 90-day guaranteed turnaround time and they can hit it, things are going to get interesting. Very interesting. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some pricing details out of them very, very soon. And maybe even an announcement that the backlog is completely clear or about to be. Then it's game on. We've been talking about this forever. We are now basically finally here in the home stretch of the grading world about to get turned upside down, in my opinion. Once that backlog's officially clear, it'll be fascinating to see what PSA numbers look like, because right now they are still inflated by the fact that they are grading the backlog. Elephant in the room here is Beckett. 41,000 is not great. Once again, we do not know how that move affected them. The other thing that I was doing some digging around on is their turnaround times. The turnaround times listed on their site look solid. However, I did some digging on Blowout, and I'm just going by what the people on Blowout state. So might not be every single person. Please, in the comments down below, if you have cards at Beckett, please chime in. Essentially, people are saying that they are currently not meeting the posted turnaround times. Once again, I'm just going by what Blowout's saying. I have no firsthand experience. I haven't submitted to Beckett in over a year. So if you have an order that's been processing, kind of sound off with where you're at with that in the comments down below. The other interesting thing that was once again floating around the Blowout forums is that they're taking a very long time to check in orders. Once again, that could be because of the move, so I'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. So we'll have to kind of see how that shakes out now that they're in the new office building, I believe, and see what next month numbers look like once they get kind of settled and situated. The other interesting thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to pull this post up. We're going to zoom in here real quick. GemRate by request breaks out sports cards and TCG/non-sport into separate totals. So we see here CSG and SGC are basically tied when it comes to sports cards, with PSA coming in with almost 600,000, Beckett at 31,000. Where things get crazy the TCG non-sport category. PSA 300,000, very respectable number. CGC basically 100,000. What's crazy is the other two companies and how much of, well, Beckett 10K doesn't look like a lot, but when you only do 41K total in the month, that's actually 25% of their workload is TCG, which actually lines up pretty close percentage-wise with PSA. SGC only 4,000 in the TCG / non-sports space. That's insane how low that number is. That's a lot of market share that they're leaving on the table. Now, I don't know how they make inroads in that. You know, could they pick up business on the TCG side? I don't know. The other thing to discuss, which was announced the week prior, and this just started, so there's probably not any on the pop report yet, or actually there probably are, but just very, very few. CGC is now grading Marvel cards, and that is going to matter. A lot of Marvel card collectors, not flippers, collectors, are going to send their cards to CGC. Because of the blue label, comic book match, it's a whole thing. I get it. I'm sending a bunch of stuff there myself. That is a lot of business that was probably going to SGC. It really, in my opinion, no offense, Peter, I don't know that it makes a ton of sense to send anything Marvel to SGC. I get it if you want a PSA alternative, perfectly fine. If I have Marvel to submit that is not going to PSA, it's going to CGC. If you're grading Marvel cards, it's basically pick one of those two companies. I honestly don't see a reason to use anyone else. Now, we'll see how CGC grades. We don't know yet. I've never used them. Obviously, a lot of people use them for TCG. I'll get a good feeling for them after this bulk submission. That's part of the reason why I'm doing it, is to send in some stuff, see how it does, and then compare it when it gets back to try to get a feel for how they grade. So that's going to be an interesting thing to kind of watch play out, is how Marvel stuff, which isn't a huge section of the market, it is for PSA. PSA grades a lot of Marvel cards. But how that kind of shakes itself out, and that's going to steal a little bit of business away from SGC. A lot of Marvel collectors were flocking towards SGC, but personally, I see a lot of that business shooting CGC's way now. So September should be a big month. This should be the month that PSA becomes the fully operational Death Star that we've been joking about forever, and we'll see what happens from there. This could potentially be, August numbers could potentially be the last numbers before the PSA backlog is cleared, or at least very close to it. But we are creeping on the grading space, radically getting shaken up, in my opinion. And then we'll see what happens from there. The end of this year, from a grading company perspective, services offered, pricing, what people are sending where, is going to get very, very interesting. And anyone that's followed the channel for a long time knows you have 4 great options. They are all tools in the tool chest. Pick the right one for the job. If you're exclusive to one company, quite honestly, you're probably doing it wrong. That's just me. What the hell do I know? I'm just an idiot in a basement talking into a nice Logitech microphone. That's all I got for you guys and girls. We will catch you on the next one. Hope to see you at the Ship Shawana show this weekend. Everybody have a nice long weekend. Peace.